Is this where Carmen was sitting and where you were sitting?
Yep. No, I was I was grounded with her.
Oh, okay.
But that was before I got the backdrop.
I like the green.
Thank you. It came in really quickly. It's all Chia Pet. Remember Chia Pets? Chia.
Yeah.
Theme song started. Hi, welcome to... I'm trying to do a cold open so I can lead it in, and she's still interrupting.
Okay, fine.
Hi, Toreys here, and we have a brand new episode. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. I'm Troy Bond. You're listening to Bonding. There's a moon on this sign. Still not sure why. Please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube.
Comment.
Jesus. You're not even on camera, so you're like a phantom voice. Comment, Luke, remember. And see me live, tour days, troybond.comey.io. All right, here we go. Today we're talking about Toreys' uterus.
And what were the things that grew out of, like a head, like Bob Ross's face?
Yeah, Bob Ross's face. You had Sigourney Weaver's pubes. There was a Garfield one. I remember Garfield was like a big thing. I don't know why. I never gave a fuck about Garfield. I never really
cared about Garfield either. He was just a cat, right?
You don't like Mondays and you love lasagna. Big deal, buddy. You wasted all 9 lives to tell us
That's
that.
more than I know about Garfield. I can't name one thing.
Those are like the basic things about
That's it. I don't know any of that.
Hates Jews, too.
Orange cat, right?
Orange cat. You didn't have to get all racial about it, but he is. Did you ever have a cat growing up? You have 2 dogs.
I had 3.
You had 3 cats?
4.
4? I think that's how many I had.
Yeah, a lot of cats.
I had 3.
I don't like cats.
3. You don't like them?
Not a big fan.
I don't like having them shit in my house. That's the one thing.
I think it's disgusting.
I mean, I do it. You can apparently teach a cat how to shit in the toilet.
Yeah, according to Meet the Fockers.
That's, yeah, whatever. I couldn't remember if it was Meet the Fockers or Date Movie, which was the parody.
I think it was Meet the Fockers.
I got nipples. Great. Can you milk me?
Pretty good.
That's everybody's De Niro. They just, like a dog just ate a lemon. But he's shooting out loads, man. He just had a baby. Well, he didn't.
How old is his
82.
He's 82?
He's 82. The person who had the baby wasn't 82.
Yeah, I would assume not.
I think they were, like him and Pacino both just had babies.
Was she in her 40s?
Early. I think like 20.
That's a big age
28.
gap.
Pacino's was like not even 30 yet.
A huge
and
age
De
gap.
Niro is very into black women. Like if it ain't brown, he ain't down. And all of his kids are very mixed. I met one of them one night at Broadway when Cuba Gooding Jr. came to the show. He was like fucking drunk as fuck, sitting in the front row, and everybody was like texting me on my way to Broadway. And they were like maybe 3 years ago. They were like, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s at the club tonight.
I remember that.
I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care who's there. I don't want to know unless it's my parents. Then I do care because I got to change shit up.
I mean, I googled him. It was like Snow Dogs.
Well, he's a star. He's been in movies that you haven't seen because you don't like black people.
Down.
Boys in the Hood. He was in Snow Dogs.
Yeah, okay, Snow Dogs.
Yeah, he was in Snow Dogs, but he was also radio and a lot of like iconic things. It's weird that Snow Dogs is the thing you remember him from. Because that's what I said as a joke when I went on stage. I was like, I don't give a fuck that the star of Snow Dogs and Daddy Day Camp is here, which was the straight-to-DVD sequel to Daddy Day Camp.
Probably all the references I knew.
Yeah, he was in a movie, Boys in the Hood, playing Trey.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
You've never seen it, though. Great movie. You have to see it, especially if someone like you from South Central California. My dad made me watch all these hood movies when I was a kid to try to keep us away from gangs and drugs. Nothing, because I still smoke crack at 15.
Look at you now.
Look at me now.
Should we do an intro?
I did. I said, welcome to Bonding.
Oh, hey, guys.
Like 10 minutes ago.
Really?
I'm Troy Bond. I almost said McClure. I've been watching too much Simpsons. My God.
What got you on the Simpsons kick?
When I was coming back from Houston, I watched it from the beginning, and then it's a show I've had my whole life. That I just didn't. As you get older, it's like SpongeBob. Like watching SpongeBob, the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, watching that as an adult, especially an adult comedy writer.
Right.
I'm like, I can't believe how funny this is. And Simpsons, obviously, it's the longest running show I think ever. But the first 10 seasons, especially the ones that Conan wrote, I'm just like, there was a thing the other day. I was like dying laughing. Conan O'Brien.
He wrote The Simpsons?
He left SNL to go write The Simpsons. He wrote the monorail episode. I'm teaching it to you.
Okay.
Pull the mic a little closer to your mouth too.
Really?
Just a little bit. There you go. Yeah. He was a Harvard guy. Then he was SNL. Then Simpsons, and then when Letterman decided to leave NBC because he didn't get the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson retired and Jay Leno got it, he took over for Letterman and then became the late night guy. He was like the first guy to bring alternative comedy to younger people like us. Like Dave Letterman did it obviously first, but Conan was like a much more cerebral type of. He's the reason we have shows today like Rick and Morty or
Big Mouth?
Big Mouth would be another one too.
Nick Kroll wrote that, right?
It's Nick Kroll.
Look at me.
You know shows.
I did it.
What do you watch for comfort? Do you watch like Love on the Spectrum?
I watch garbage. Yeah, I've seen all that.
I feel like watching history stuff is garbage sometimes too. Like, why do I need to know what the black box is from the 9/11 flights say? But like, I'll go down the rabbit holes like that.
Yeah,
like
true.
Women's garbage and men's garbage, very different garbage.
Women's garbage is Bravo, The Bachelorette. I watch that for just.
Men don't watch The Bachelorette.
Not really, unless they're watching with a girl.
That's
no
true.
men just are like alone watching The Bachelor. Not to my knowledge. I hope to stand corrected. Someone comment if you're a man and you watch.
Well, I know like Jared Freed is big into like those dating shows.
Yeah, because he broadcasts it to his female followers. It's like his whole shtick. Yeah, but you
Secret
watch
Identity
things for you, not for
the dudes. This one's for the bitches. Bill Bluckman, Down with the Bitches and Hoes. That's from Malibu's Most Wanted. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
What? That's a classic 2000s. Jamie Kennedy?
No.
On the list.
What else should I watch? I've never seen Shawshank Redemption.
That one flopped when it came out, and then it is like an iconic movie now because of at-home releases.
Oh, you'd be proud of me for this. There's a show on Netflix called Music from the 90s or some shit. And The Sound of the 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a whole episode on auto-tune, and it was with T-Pain. And I learned a lot. It was good. He thought
it's sad that his peer, like, I think it was Usher or somebody called him and was like, "You're ruining my career."
Yes, they were on a jet together, and he pulled him to the back, and he said, "You're ruining music."
I mean, like, I've had something like that sort of happen to me once. And I don't want to say who, but you know, I never after somebody more powerful than you.
On stage before.
I know, and it wasn't. There's a reason it wasn't broadcasted. I don't like to also shit talk them unless they've done something horrible. But like, as someone who's had that happen before, one of your heroes or somebody you look up to just demolishes you, that stays with you. That stuck with me longer than being molested did. Like, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror because I was like, am I just all these things? And he's having a resurgence that I'm very thankful for now because he got shit on, and his stuff is like our 80s.
Well, what I really liked was...
But would you agree he's like, are their 80s? He's like our version of the 80s.
Sorry,
like, every time buy you a drink and what's this stripper one? I'm in love with
stripper. Bartender.
Ooh, if
Somebody
you look at me.
I learned, so he was in a depression for years after that, and he believed him. He was like, I guess I ruined music. And then he did Tiny Desk, and he like looked at the ground for half of the Tiny Desk because he thought he was doing so poorly. And then after it all came out, everyone was like, that was amazing. This is incredible. Like T-Pain can sing. He's like, I've always known this. And then he was like, why have I let other people tell me how to feel about myself for all these years? And it kind of was a life lesson of what other people think of you doesn't matter. How you feel about yourself is what matters. And it's like, you can hear that a million times and it's really easy to get lost. But watching someone like T-Pain go through that experience really made me think like, okay, well, stop and think, how do you feel about yourself? And what do you want to do? Do that.
It's also not objectively true what someone else says about you because the version of them that lives in their head isn't you. You know, and often people's characterizations of other people is just this shield generator so they could feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Not to get all like fifth grade teacher about it. But.
No, it's funny you say that. I tried to write a joke about this during the pandemic and it didn't work, but it's really dumb. There's a pandemic. It's not good, but it's like if you get...
You're like, what's the deal with washing hands?
This might be totally off topic.
I love it. This is the Off Topic podcast. Every week my manager's like, do something with bonding. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. Whatever the fuck I want.
Here we are. Well, no, it made me think of this because when you were saying how everyone has a version of you in their head and however that looks, but it's like, think about when someone dies. No one's going to be like, oh, they were fucking rude or they had this. It's like they always bring up the most amazing memories of you.
They did. They said Hitler was a hell of a painter.
But I thought of it like, again, it wasn't funny, but the premise was if you're upset with someone, whether you know them or not, just picture them dead. Like, let's say someone cuts you off in traffic. Just be like, oh, well, they're going to die one day, moving on. Like, it gets very dark. Or picture someone that you love, and, like, if they're upsetting you, picture them like, dying. It's like, okay, suddenly you're not mad at them anymore because you're like, oh, my God, one day they're not going to be here anymore. Let me write the way I feel about them.
Isn't that, like, where the phrase, you're dead to me, comes from?
Yes, but...
I find it a little cathartic.
What do you think of that thought?
Knowing that they're going to die and then dropping everything and forgiving them?
Yeah.
I'm pro forgiveness. You know me.
You and I are very like that. When we've gotten in fights, it's very like pink, yellow.
I'm an easy person to fight because I like to deal with confrontation directly, and I'm in the wrong 90% of the time.
We are able to look in the mirror, I'd say.
Yeah, well, like the whole reason I have a relationship with my father is because of the ending of Return to the Jedi. Luke Skywalker taught me everything about compassion that I needed to know, and just having boundless compassion and forgiveness, and having that all the time and carrying that with you everywhere leaves a bigger mark than being one of those people that just is why me instead of why not me. Every time something happens to me that is a net negative, I'm like, yeah, it was about time. And it's not easy, but it's not as challenging for me to get out of those kinds of situations because I'm just like, all right, I haven't prepared for this, so I'm prepared for the worst case scenario, which is being unprepared, and also holding on to hate or having that negative thing towards someone, I think rots you inside.
It does.
Like it's why are you letting that take up space in your head and in your spirit and in your energy? There's so many people in this world. It shouldn't be that hard to find one you fuck with, or that doesn't cause you so much strife and anger. Like my youngest brother and my dad don't butt heads the way my brother and I both did, because he was just like, I'm not gonna let him take my energy, and I was like, I hate that I'm learning shit from my brother who's 8 years younger than me.
He's very insightful, that one.
You said that like Yoda. Very insightful, that one is.
Well, he wants to be a psychologist. I think he's going to be great at that.
I think so, too. Unless mid-year he gives up and decides he wants to be a stripper, which I also think he would be great at. I support...
Chippendales is a thing.
What was it?
Chippendales. It's like the dancers in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like a pop if he wants to do that. Logan could do that.
I like that. That was my UFC fighter brother one.
Yeah, he could easily do that.
I get thirsty messages, but when I post Logan, I'll get like, it's like a game of telephone. Like, tell your brother I'll suck his dick. And I'm like, hey, whatever having to just a thumbs up reaction. Why you gotta go? Now I gotta think about that. And that's in my head on a Tuesday.
Man. You get a lot of DMs.
I do.
Is it a good ego boost?
It's over. I don't know. It's hard. You go back and forth. There's positives and negatives to it. I used to be able to be in constant contact with everyone who followed me because I felt like I owed an obligation. Every time someone follows me, I just want to be like, I'm sorry. You gotta watch my shit now. Everything I do in this life that's a positive is an ego boost. When I was leaving LaGuardia the other day, or JFK, one of the parking attendants outside of the... Remember that time we went to we were leaving JFK and we got on like some shuttle, and it was like a 30-minute ride to get to the Uber place, and we both were on different ends of the buses. That was at LAX?
Yeah.
It was?
Oh,
no, it was coming home from JFK, right?
There was another moment on another shuttle in LAX.
Yes.
We both were kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're right, we did sit in different places because I sat down and you sat down, and I was like, why'd you do that? And you're like, I didn't see you.
Because I thought you were next
and
to
then
me.
I was like, where the fuck are we?
No, I thought you were just next to me, but it was another white woman. There was just like an aura.
That was after Dania Beach, right?
That was the last time we went on the road. Yeah, that was after Dania Beach.
We went on a full ride.
That bus ride was longer than the flight to Florida. It was forever. And then the other day, I was waiting for my bag at JFK for an hour and 20 minutes.
Where was it?
In the carousel thing. It just took that long.
Everyone was waiting that long?
Everyone was waiting that long.
That's crazy. See, I always like look around like for my flight. If I'm like, okay.
So that's what I ended up doing. I found a woman who she was sitting next to me when we were at the gate in Denver, and with her two kids. And I got up so she could have a seat. And then I saw her
a hero
at the I brought that up because then I saw her at JFK and I saw she was going in circles and I was like, you were at Denver, I recognized your 2 kids. And I was like, oh, that was a weird thing to say. Why did I
take them?
It's like I went to go bring my because my Mac, when we came back from a Goobies, there was some kind of juice or something that got into my Mac and it crashed it, and I went with Rosie to go to the Apple store to drop it off, and I was like, I think I got like Kool-Aid in there or something, and then the guy who came over to fix it was black, and he heard me say it, and I was like,
I'm black too.
I was like, what did I just do with racism? It was like, I was like, I don't know what to do. It was like when the people are still clicking on that Kamala Harris video, and they're like, why didn't you say you were black? And I was like, because the second you do, it's just like it's not like something you could, because I'm not like black. I don't have that same life experience, you know?
Right.
Like I can't just, I'm sure black people will look at me and be like, oh, must be nice to turn it on and off whenever you want. I can't just switch it up. I have a black dad who I made do stand-up. Not made, gave him the opportunity to in Indiana. That's my black experience, Mr. Jesse Jackson. No, they were all about me, and they were inaccurate, apparently. He was like telling stories, and he posted a clip on Facebook, as all us comics do. And my mom, he was like telling a story about me and a pink pacifier, and me wagging my finger at my grand. Yeah, it was very and wagging my finger at him, and then my grandmother spoon feeding me ice cream, and my mom texted me the day after. She was like, it was Logan who had the pink pacifier because it was the hospital who was out of blue ones, and your grandmother wasn't spoon feeding you ice cream. It was Peaches. And I was like, get a divorce. I can't do this no more. I can't be your last line of defense, woman. I'm going through shit.
Oh, you're going to love this. My mom's into mushrooms now, too. So
what?
Apparently, it's just everyone's into mushrooms.
Well, drugs were so stigmatized back then for our parents. You know, it was the Richard Nixon, if you do drugs, it'll make you black.
Everyone's putting them in their coffee and shit, not like drug mushrooms.
The mushrooms stuff.
Yeah,
but the stuff my mom is always trying to peddle on me. I know. She peddles that shit on everyone.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I guess I feel it's like it's better than her doing candles.
Miracle shit. I was at Whole Foods earlier after you called me and said you needed more time, so I was like, I'm going to go grocery shopping.
Why did you pin that on me? You said that like a shitty thing. I was at Whole Foods because you needed more time, asshole.
And I was walking by this rack, and it had these little mushroom gummies on it. And I had a very stressful day, so I bought them. And I do feel relaxed.
You ate them?
I did.
Were they? Oh, they were the mushroom brand things, not psychedelics.
Not psychedelics. They were like ashwagandha mushroom relaxed gummies. But I feel zen.
You think there could be a placebo?
Oh, for sure. But I don't know. Like I just feel. Like I need to turn my work brain off, and I think you helped me with that. And then I just remembered I took those mushrooms, and I'm like, I do feel.
I think I turn everyone's work brain off because I live in my own little.
Yeah, I'm like, what is a 9 to 5? When I'm with you, I'm like.
Yeah, but like people, I worked so hard to not have a 9 to 5, just to have a 9 to 9. You know.
Honestly, today was one of those days where I was like,
it's just one of them days.
I don't like
Torey Cole goes through.
It's hard.
Monday.
Desk jobs are really hard. You feel just trapped.
Yeah.
You feel trapped.
It sucks when you feel claustrophobic in your life and have no control over anything you do.
Yeah, there's office snacks, and you're just at this desk, and you're hunched over, and you're getting this pterodactyl back. Gut is growing, and they did this whole study on
pterodactyl back?
Yeah, like the little, like they have that crest, and I got the little crest.
Is that in the back? I thought that was their.
I'll show you later.
I haven't seen one in a minute.
Hump.
I'm just glad you believe in dinosaurs, you whale denier. I saw dolphins when I was in LA, and I was like, I wish Torey could see this shit.
No, I get a lot of whale videos now on my Instagram because I clicked on one. And once you click on one, and they're fascinating.
Whales?
Yeah.
I know. They have you ever seen a killer whale skull?
No.
When I went to,
I've seen a killer
last time I was in
whale.
LA, we went to Malibu, we went on the pier, and they had a little, what do they call those water museums? Aquarium. What do they call a water museum? An aquarium, Marge.
That's funny.
And they had a orca skull, and I was like petting it. And I was just like,
did you get its powers?
We freed you, Willie. What would his powers be?
Tillicum was the Willie was the killer whale, and then Blackfish. Did you ever see Blackfish?
No.
It's a documentary about a killer whale named Tilikum.
Name what? Tilikum?
Tilikum.
Why? Wait till it come.
I don't know why they called him that, but he was in a tiny little
whale,
bathtub of a tank, and he had a
like
very
SeaWorld?
sad life. At SeaWorld. It was all about SeaWorld.
Yeah, fuck SeaWorld.
It was really sad.
Yeah,
it really broke me. I cried a lot.
Why?
It's a gut-wrenching story about animals in captivity, like especially just dolphins and they shouldn't be in there because they have
aquatic animals.
Because they communicate through the sonar.
The sonar. Yeah. Sonar, Mr. Wayne. Like bats do too.
Sonograms.
Yeah. Like that's where submarine communicates through.
And so
they communicate through fish language.
When they're in tanks, it just hits the wall and gets back at them, so they can't communicate properly.
A lot of them will start banging their heads on the tanks purposely because they've just glitched out.
Yeah, and one time they took one of the babies away from one of the killer whales, and she sent out long wave signals to call for her baby, and she just never saw it again. And she just did that for months, and it's just I don't know. It's so sad.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of aquariums because I don't feel like fish or anything that lives underwater shouldn't be in a confined space. Sometimes there's some zoos I'll fuck with because they're like animal hospitals.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah, like I love the Central Park Zoo because I go there and I'm like, these animals are well taken care of. They're being fed.
I've never been.
It's beautiful.
I
love
cold.
going.
It's like, why is a tiger in the cold?
I don't think there's a tiger up there.
Okay.
They got penguins.
Okay.
They do have a walrus or a seal.
Gorillas are too smart. They shouldn't be in there.
I don't think they have gorillas. They got baboons. But like it's like a sanctuary for a lot of them, and a lot of them. They used to put black people in zoos, until like the 20s. So you have to think about it from that. Oh, I shit you not. It'll break your heart looking at like in New York. Kids from Africa they would put into zoos. So looking at those pictures, people started to be like,
in the 20s?
Yeah. It was racism. It's still there. It's still here.
What?
Yeah. Remember what you called me right before we started recording?
Don't tell anyone that.
Called me a fine piece of chocolate ass. And you slapped me.
That was between us.
And now it's between my cheeks. Yeah, zoos. I feel like if it's a good one, you could tell. Like you could tell a happy animal.
The cleanness.
The cleanliness. Are they? Did you see like that video of the penguins at the Central Park Zoo during COVID, where they finally let them out and they got to walk around and they were like, "This is nice. Y'all be living out here like this." I was like, okay, those look like penguins who are comfortable at that zoo. But I guess if they were born there, it's like being born in jail. You don't know any different. Know. Yeah. I don't speak any animal language, so I really wouldn't know either. Your dog only loves you because you feed it.
Yeah. And you love it. They feel love. They feel human emotion. Dogs are smart.
It depends on what kind of dog.
Yeah.
My first dog, Parker, was the dumbest dog I've ever met in my entire life.
Boston
and he ran
Terrier?
away for a month and found his way home.
Wasn't it a Boston
Terrier?
Terrier?
He was a Boston Terrier.
Those are smart.
No, not this one. People would be like, what kind of dog is he? My dad would go, stupid. And he ran out of the back gate of the house one day when we went to go see the Avatar, The Last Airbender movie. It was like July 2nd, 2010. And he was like my best friend. I had him my whole life. We were like Bart Simpson and Santa's little helper. He was just my buddy. I had him my whole life. I was out looking for him. I looked for him for a month. Never, and my parents were trying to convince me that he was dead.
That's so sad.
They got another dog.
Picturing you looking for him
and then
breaks my heart.
I was out every night like a bounty hunter. I was like Boba Fett. I was like, I'm gonna find you, Parker. I thought I knew some shit about.
Did you yell his name?
All the time. Which, when you dress up like Michael Jackson and walk around in your hometown, yelling a dog's name out loud isn't as crazy anymore.
Yeah.
Like a bar I got to set for myself. And then we went to Rhode Island with my grandmother, and then we came back on a Sunday, and then my dad didn't tell me that they found him. They found him like behind the parks department. He was blind. He was trying to he was like close to our house. He was finding his way back home. And I get out of the car, and I see my dad holding him, and I just like broke down and I lost it. And he held on for a year after that. He was an older dog. We went to go see, he was very sick and almost died. We brought him to the vet. My dad had a karate student who was also a veterinarian. And he's like, we can put him down right now or see if he makes it through the weekend. And my dad was like, we'll see if he makes it through the weekend. And I wrapped him up in a little blanket, kept him in my bed. And I stayed next to him all weekend, and my mom was like, on a Sunday, she was like, you gotta go to this party. Just get away from him from a little bit. And I was like, don't die before I come back, Parker. And I came home, and he was still there. And then I went to the bathroom, and then he peaced out. He waited for me. That was my little buddy. Everyone should have a dog or something that's smaller than you that you have to take care of.
When you're little.
They used to make the Nazis raise these puppies, and then at like
hamsters.
6 months old, they'd make them snap their necks, so they would teach them villainy and make them evil.
No.
The Nazis did some other bad things too.
They did that with the Amish. You gotta kill a chicken.
Yeah, I saw my great aunt cut a head off a chicken when I went to North Carolina as a kid, and I was fucked. I still see it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I remember watching an Amish show, and they had to do that, and I still remember the little girl crying.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to about the Amish on this podcast. They definitely don't listen.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to get out of your system?
Nah,
you want to say throw some shots at Jebediah or Ezekiel?
No, I actually was so fascinated by the Amish
motherfucker.
that I asked my dad if I could go live with an Amish family for a week because I was so infatuated by them.
And then he just turned the fuse box off.
Well, and then he set it up. He got it all. He found a family.
Where, like in Delaware?
In Pennsylvania, in like Lancaster.
Right. Yeah.
And he set it all up, and I was gonna go, and then suddenly he was like, never mind. And I think he realized it was like.
No, it's a cult. It's really bad.
And then I think he was suddenly this is not a good idea.
No, the way, especially.
They don't treat women or animals well at all.
That's most religions. All religions, I say.
Again, it's a hot take. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
No, you're not. I follow this guy on TikTok who left the Amish community, and he goes back sometimes, and just seeing how they shun him and treat him, and at seeing. Like Handmaid's Tale is very much influenced by it, but it's literally
they have the same bonnets and shit.
Yeah. I can't think of a religion. I'll get some shit for saying this. I can't think of a religion that's good for women. I can't think of one. I'm trying to.
You know how I feel, so I'm like, say it louder for the people in the back.
I mean, can you? I can't think of one that's like we focus on protecting women or making sure women are looked after and are safe. And then Catholics and Christians will be like, well, we do because we're pro-life and we're looking out for the life of, and that's a woman, so boom. And I'm like, well, you got to take care of it after it's born too. You can't just let a baby get squirted out, then be on benefits its whole life. If you're going to be pro-life, be it through and through. So that bitch is dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but if it is, I got some more coming.
Keep it going.
I saw Alien Romulus the other night.
People that are pro-life,
okay,
I just
save that one.
want to understand what makes you think you can tell someone what to do with their body. That's my take on it. I'm baffled that people that feel that strongly about it have never been in that situation, or it grosses me out. And I know that might be a hot take, but I think that is so fucked.
It's a room divider for sure, and it's always sad when it kind of is, because it's like one of those things where I say, everyone should have access to food, shelter, water, and healthcare. And people get very angry and holding pearlsy about that. Why should I have to pay for it? Bitch, you pay for wars and shit that kills people. Why not pay for some shit? Why not let some of your tax dollars go to shit that's going to help people? And the abortion thing is crazy because when Roe v. Wade got repealed, and they said they're coming for everything, and I'm like, no, that was everything. You understand? That was the government going, we can tell you what to do with your bodies now. Now it's over. Now that's it. That's why I get so fired up around election time, because every election in my life has always been the most important one we've ever had, blah, 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 blah. But the last three have been detrimental.
Yeah.
It's been I remember when Trump was his first term, I remember watching him on TV at 1 a.m, because you know me, I'm a news junkie. And I just remember looking at him being like, am I going to have to deal with this motherfucker for my whole 20s? I'd be like, there's a lot of stuff he's doing. I lived in the hood at the time, and I was like, there's no difference between Obama's presidency and Trump's presidency, where I lived in the hood. And just because it didn't affect me doesn't mean it wasn't impactful. You turn on the news and see kids in cages, or then toward the end you start to see them get really aggressive. And then it got scary when people's extremist views got so naked. Look how racist openly people are being about Kamala.
Yeah, no, it's scary. And I watched the DNC, actually, which,
Really?
I did.
Did you stay awake?
I did. I watched all of it.
I had a rough time watching that shit. I like watching the RNC because I don't agree with any of those people, so it's like a show for me. The DNC, it's just I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this year's was this election cycles was the best one I've seen since I've been voting.
Pretty blown away.
Yeah,
I thought the gun when they had the mothers that had lost children, the kid that had been in a classroom, like hearing firsthand accounts of that, it's like, how could you not want to change?
Because the Democrats are very good at putting on a show, but they're not very good at policy. Yeah. And that was embodied by them saying they're going to have a very surprise special guest, and they leaked that it was going to be Beyonce, and there was no celebrity special guest, and Beyonce never showed up.
Pink was there.
Is that the same level of Beyonce?
She sang a beautiful song.
I'm sure she did.
Everyone knows Pink.
But not everyone gives a fuck.
I
love Pink. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up.
Anyways,
I'm coming.
We don't have to go into all this,
it's relevant. It's important to talk about.
It is very relevant, and it's like I feel like I have a very like general take on all this because I'm fairly neutral.
Most people are though,
and I don't know as much as I should. I'll admit that openly. But watching this made me be like, oh, I have to vote.
Like what? What about it made you? Was it an emotional thing? Was it an intellectual thing?
And just
what
the
emotions
points that were
evoked?
being made of if Trump wins, it's like women could lose control over their own bodies, and I know that's also a fear tactic, and it won't obviously be that extreme.
Well, it's a proven thing though. They already took away Roe v. Wade, and he stacked the Supreme Court with his own judges. They're the ones who are going to do that shit.
I agree. The other concern I have though is, let's say Kamala wins in the best outcome, I think, but then there's all the people that'll be upset, and it'll be another January 6th again, and all those people are going to lose their minds. So it's like,
yeah, they're going to lose. It's either they lose their minds or you lose your rights.
Right? Yeah, which again, I think they could cause a lot of harm, which then could hurt our rights.
I think when Trump got shot. Yeah, I know, but they're taking out each other. A Republican shot Trump.
That's true.
And he was very, he had other shit going on.
Do you think Kamala has extra security?
I think Secret Service has been extremely overwhelmed since its inception, and has always been an underfunded, understaffed, over-the-top job. I mean, look at the JFK video. When he gets shot, they're walking behind him in the Corvette, then when it takes him a few minutes to spring into action after his brains are all over the back of the car. Like at all times you have to be on someone's ass. And Kamala, there's always heightened security during presidential elections, and when you run for president, you get your own Secret Service. I think you would be very hard pressed to get anywhere near Kamala Harris right now, especially because the Secret Service has to really put up the front that, like, hey, we're not fucking up that. But the head of it just resigned after the Trump shooting.
Really?
So, yeah, because how did you let that happen? That was I was like afraid, being like, this isn't supposed to. When Trump got shot, I was like, how? That's like scary that if that could happen to that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, his people. There was a line in Everybody Hates Chris where a guy was like, man, it's hard to rob a gun store. They got guns. And I remember when Trump got shot, and I was like, I felt like Qui-Gon Jinn. Whenever you gamble, my friend, you're bound to lose. If you're going to speak to people with guns, you're going to get shot.
Well.
And I think there was an Eddie Murphy joke when he was talking about Jesse Jackson running for president, which they highlighted at the DNC. And he ran in the 80s, and he was like, he's going to give all his speeches moving, be like, my fellow Americans. And like, he won't stand still. I will say the other thing, too, is like, the older I get, the more I realize to run for president, you have to be a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
I would not want to talk to anybody who's running for president, who's like a president at a party. Imagine like talking to that person who's like, I can fix this. I got it all, yo. Come here, talk to me. Listen to my ideas about.
Try hard.
Yeah, I know. Fucking take it down. Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, come on. I'm with her. No, I'm with the Uber that I just called. Thank you. Make this party great again.
Well, I think that's a lot. That's Kamala's kind of her reputation in California. Everyone's kind of like she's a ball buster. Like everyone's kind of anti her in California, from what I've heard.
In Oakland, where she was a prosecutor. Well, nobody liked her. She was the first to drop out when she ran in 2020, and then Pete Buttigieg struck a deal to give all the delegates to Joe and cry to kick Bernie Sanders. I mean, I'll always be salty about that. But I didn't realize how far left she ran in 2020, and that's kind of aligned with where I'm at. And Biden sort of proved that nobody's going to push him on anything. And I think her being a prosecutor, which is not a cop, a prosecutor, are they on the wrong side of the law? Sometimes, putting people in jail for 20 years for weed, yes. They also put away bad guys who do bad things that this video would get flagged for if I called them by the titles of their names. And I don't know if it was the media brainwashing me or what. Like, I still don't love her. I don't trust her. I think she's a sociopath like every other person who's president, because you sort of have to be. But they changed my mind on her within like 3 days. I was watching her on and her. The one thing about the DNC speech is I was like, she's very like I me, and I'm like, okay. Here's what we're going to do. Yeah. Because that's what Trump does. Trump does the I, me. Here are all the problems America needs to be fixed. And we're supposed to be the Democrats, and I don't love the Democrats. I'm a Democrat every 4 years when there's an election. And then in between, I'll shit talk about why we lose all the time. But her speech, it was like watching another Barack Obama in many ways. Like, I always thought like he was a once-in-a-lifetime politician. If you look at everybody that's been in the game since. I was like, how hard is it to be fucking normal?
And to make sense.
That's
watching, a big one for me.
And to not shit yourself or die. To look at you and go, okay, you'll still be with us tomorrow.
Well, that was the thing with the DNC. I was like, I understand everything that's being said right now. And that was like one of the first times I finally was in that place watching something like that.
What do you think what made you watch the DNC, and how do you reach more people who are learning? It's a really good question. That you're learning.
I was home in Maryland, and I just turned on the TV to find something to mindlessly watch with my mom for an hour, and I think it was D.L. Hughley talking, and he cracked the funniest joke, and I was like, wait, what is this? I was like, oh, this is.
I think you watched Def Comedy Jam.
It was him.
I know.
And I was like, wait, this is so fun that they're bringing humor to this, and that it's smart and it's interesting. And then I just kept watching. So it was honestly comedy that drew me in, and having a new appreciation for public speaking, especially on a platform like that. Like, I don't care even what this is about. I just am blown away by the composure and the ability to communicate so clearly with a huge audience. That's where I was just fascinated.
In a topic that's not a panty dropper.
Yeah.
Like Bill Clinton didn't really get consequences.
Kamala.
I'll tell you, man, she's sexy as hell. I mean, she's smart as hell, man. I love Kamala, man.
Kamala.
I'm gonna lick her all up.
Her.
Yeah, give me I call her Kamala because I want to get all up and humping in her. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What was I going to say? Oh, he was a predator and not a guy who would want to babysit your kids, but won the election because he played saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show in 1992 and went up against George Bush Sr., who was
a talent show?
No, he just played saxophone with his sunglasses on, and they were like, yep. Like, that's how you win. Think about, like, Barack and, like, why, like, people forgot about the drone strikes because they were like, oh, he listens to Kendrick Lamar. You just wiped out probably like 3 generations of a family, but we'll forget it because you shared your summer reading. Like, that's how you connect with people. Yeah. That's what liberals do that conservatives can't. There's not a lot of funny conservative comics because there's not a lot of diversity of thought, and their thought line is very us versus them. Liberals are very hippy-dippy, holding hands, and might be a little more exposed to other people's cultures or different perspectives. Yeah, and I think that what the Democrats suck at the most is messaging, and the Kamala campaign is doing a great job at getting young people involved right now because historically, young people are the low turnout vote.
Right.
In the last 3 elections, not including the midterms, it's getting higher and higher and higher. And every time I see a TikTok from the Kamala Harris headquarters, I'm like, they fucking tapped in. They locked in. Because Trump locked in with Twitter. That was a big thing that got him elected. And then he got suspended after January 6th. And now he has Truth Social, which is a great way. It's like where you go see your relatives who got banned from Facebook type their opinions in all caps. You're like, Jesus, Aunt Gladys, I can't be pictured with you.
The Daily Tribune of their local town.
Yeah, no, there's.
Well, I used to say fucked up things, and I remember when I asked you the question, what's something that you now like that you didn't like, and then I was so excited to tell you that I'd like olives now.
Yeah, no. I think that was such a boring statement. I deleted it from my brain.
Right. Well, it was in Salt Lake, and you're like, what about you? And I was like, I like olives. After you went on and on and on about probably some politics. Remember that?
That describes 90% of interactions I have with anyone. I'd like to
do better. That's something I'll try to do better. But
what, olives or politics?
All of it. But I'm just going to make a statement that I'm really embarrassed that I used to say, that I'd like to turn and I'd like to just make a point. I used to be the person that said my vote doesn't matter statistically. And then now I'm like, that's a stupid thing to say. Everybody needs to vote.
What made you change your mind on that?
Because I was really moved by watching the DNC, and I was like, as a woman who was given the right to vote not that long ago, I'm an idiot to not take that power. And if the outcome were to be not what I wanted, I can only look in the mirror and say, well, you didn't do your part. So
that's what drives me to vote, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I don't, because I speak so much about it, and I feel like I can't talk about it if I didn't participate in it. And also, I'm very lucky to live in a country in which I'm allowed to do both, where I'm allowed to vote in a democratic election and speak openly about the administration, whether it be either side who's in power, and not get beheaded. We're very lucky to have that, but we're also very fucked that we have to keep doing that so we can just have like the right to hold our own cocks when we piss. I know.
It is scary though, all this AI. It's like, it feels like it could get hacked very easily.
It did in 2016.
I know.
But I mean, every election we've had since then has been the most secure election because of that, because of those. But the hacking also can take on many different forms. It's not just like getting into voting machines and changing votes. JFK kind of stole the election. His dad paid off a bunch of mobsters to get to fill the ballot boxes with dead people's names.
Wow.
Democrats don't, and that was the theory in 2016 that Biden won because all these dead people voted for him. Like, no, dead people don't vote for Democrats. They run the Democratic Party. They're all dead. Look at everybody who's running it. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, they've been dead for years. They're just ghosts haunting shit. And it's, I think it's very easy to think that your vote doesn't matter, because I still try to understand things like the Electoral College. When Trump won, I was like, well, he didn't win the popular vote. Isn't that supposed to be the thing that gets you the job? Mm-hmm. When 4 out of 5 dentists recommend you, you go, yeah. You don't go by the vote of the one dentist and go, listen to that guy. Right? Like, so I still don't fully understand it. And I don't really understand the delegate process. But I understand my participation in it is the voting aspect.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm such an ally to women.
Yeah.
And I don't want your rights taken away. I want your uterus to be yours.
Thank you so much. Uterus.
Uterus. Not mine.
That's pretty good.
You. You deal with it.
That's pretty good.
I'm Troy Bond, and I'm running in 2020, whenever I'm eligible.
I'd vote for you.
That's not a good thing. I would run if I didn't hate the system so much.
Yeah. Well, you are crazy, so...
I am.
You check that box.
Everybody gets free health care and crack. And dental care for all the free crack I gave you. I couldn't do it. Because it's like my brother wanted to be a cop, but he was like, I don't think I would ever be able to meet the arrest quota.
Yeah.
Because like he understood.
Like, go run, quick.
Yeah, like, the body cam. I didn't understand that because it's never on. I thought it was just you being like, run, quick. I'll distract him with my breasts. Run. Go. All you have to do is put your hands on your breasts and then start looking.
Run away. Like,
oh, wooga, wooga, wooga. We got a 1034 over here, 69.
Oh, man.
I could never be a cop because every time I'd handcuff someone, I'd be like, yeah, you like that?
I'd be like, hey, by the way, there are no rules. We're all going to die.
Here's my gun. Whoa.
Who gave me this?
Yeah.
What?
I would lose my gun
what?
if I were 30 a cop. Years? I would be like Chief Wiggum in The Simpsons. I would always be losing I would never know where it is. I would lose my gun constantly.
Okay, where's my drawer?
Did I tell you my dad left his whole suitcase in Indiana?
I believe it.
I've been much more responsible since then. I took him to Indiana with me. The man left his whole ass suitcase in the Fort Wayne, Indiana airport. And we got off the plane and I was like, Dad, where's your luggage? And he went, I didn't check it in. And I went, oh my God.
So what'd you do?
You didn't check it in. What did I do? I didn't lose my bag. I got mine.
So you were like, sorry, I hope you didn't like any of that stuff.
Well, luckily the valet that he drove his car had an extra set of those keys, and I got them to ship it to Queens. But
they found it at the airport?
I don't know if you know this. They're pretty tight about left behind luggage at airports.
Did he have a tag on it?
No, he has an air tag in it though, so he knows where it is, and he's been blowing up my phone every day to get it. I got rid of so much of my shit the other day. I Marie Kondo'd my.
I need a Marie Kondo.
I did. I was just like, I have so much shit. Let me just get rid of it, because it's not like I have so much stuff that I use every day, and that's important, like this equipment and stuff. And I have so much stuff that people give me, and I have my own personal collection. So I had to go through all three things and be like, what don't I need? And I've limited down my life to 27 totes.
It's pretty good.
That's going to be the name of my book, 27 totes. I'm trying to write a book right now. It's a bitch. I'm reading a lot of my old journals, and I'm remembering stuff.
Like what?
Just from
Torey is my favorite. I love bringing Torey on the road. It's so sad without Torey on the road. I don't think you're mentioned
by name at all. I try not to mention anyone's name in the journals,
kidding.
or if they are, they're nicknamed, because I don't want
right?
to.
That's funny, right?
No, it was sad because I know it was true.
I miss the road.
I know.
I miss the road with you.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Like I was saying, I found an old journal from high school where I was like 17.
I had sex under a treadmill today.
No, this is pre.
I met a French girl and I love her.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. I saw someone on the plane the other day and I thought it was her. And I was like, what my heart did to the rest of my body was crazy. And I was like, wow, the human. I shat, I got hard, I puked in my heart, and then it wasn't her. And I was like, oh, thank croissant.
I do that with an old boss I hated, but it's more of a feeling of fear.
What, you was he old boss?
I always think I see her, and I'm like, but it's like crazy when your mind, body, like make a weird, you're like, ugh.
I know, I started sweating, and like my hands got clammy, and I was like, toughen up. You got that dog in you.
I hate that shit.
We can't control our own emotions. I don't like it.
It's like, because we go on stage and it's like, I'm not nervous. And then I'll do like a meeting for my day job and I'm like, and I'm like, you're fine.
Well,
you're
because
fine.
Your day job impacts your livelihood, and when you're on stage, that's just a dream that
if I
you're
don't
directly responsible for. If you don't and if you don't do well on stage, it doesn't impact your financial status yet. Fair. So it would make sense why you'd be terrified to go see the boss. Like when I was in the King Kong suit, I'd be terrified every time I had to go to the concourse levels because I'm like, this King Kong money about to dry up. And it's so weird when you're going downstairs at the Empire State Building to meet the executives and you're worried that your mascot job is on the line, the one that keeps you fed and clothed. And that's why in times of crisis, I don't panic as much anymore. I still have overwhelming panic attacks at times, and there's definitely days where I wake up and I'm like, where's the 12 gauge? But I got by on so little and thought I had so much at the time. I used to eat beans. That's all I ate because I was a vegetarian.
Farting a lot?
Probably, but I lived alone at the time.
You're just hotboxing your King Kong outfit?
No, I would never fart in the suit because that would only impact me. I did crop dust a marriage proposal once. I was eating Raisin Bran, so it was especially bad. I didn't realize that's not true. I did realize it was going on. I think maybe subconsciously I was like, let me walk by and ruin this real quick. So she'll always associate the marriage with my rotten insides. Your father's proposal, it was sulfuric more than romantic. Do you want to get married?
No, we've talked about this.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't really want to do that now.
Why? Because you don't want to have the same meal for the rest of your life, or
exactly. No. I'd love to find someone that I want to spend that much time with, but I don't know. I have to get a contract involved. I know there's like tax breaks, and it's easier if you have a kid. And maybe maybe I will have my olive moment with this. So I could be wrong, but how I feel right now after watching one of my, it's like my family, my mom and dad, their marriage imploded in my face. So not really down to sign up for that.
No, you definitely learn romance from your parents.
Love you, mom
and dad. Who live separately. See you at 2 Christmases.
Thanks for teaching me a lesson. Yeah.
And how to close yourself off emotionally.
What about you?
What, will I ever get married?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put someone through that. As Richard Pryor would say, I ain't no walk in the park, Jack.
Fair.
I lived with my ex, and when you are that close with someone and your lives are so intertwined, we lived very different lifestyles as well. And this will always be my first love. And I've had people...
This right here?
Just entertainment and performing and everything I do and create. Mm. And unless I found someone who would be okay with that, I wouldn't want to put them through that again.
I think you will.
Sometimes I think so, and then other times I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
But you're young.
But that's...
You're young.
You look for it when you're not looking. I mean, you find it when you're not looking.
Yeah.
As you looked at yourself in the mirror. I'm looking at the Tory in the mirror. Yeah, shout out.
You only have yourself.
At the end of the day. She pointed to the picture where she had somebody with her.
Just kidding. That was sad. You die like,
No,
people.
You die alone.
Well,
you're born alone and you die alone.
Well, you're born with your mom. At least. Bare minimum. And then you die.
With your mom. Bare least.
Whoever.
And minimum.
Whoever is there for your dying.
If you come into this world knowing you're loved and you leave it the same way, everything else in the middle can be dealt with.
Yeah. Love is all you need.
Yoda wrote that lyric for the Beatles. Love is all you need. All you need is love. I bought a shirt Michael Jackson owned. That's where that quote came from.
Wow. On eBay?
I don't want to say where. But I got it in the mail today, and I opened it, and it's hanging in my room, and I'm going to wear it at my September 6th show, Broadway Comedy Club.
That's exciting. I need to make... Am I coming?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll watch. But
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just add that. It's my calendar.
We'll add it to your calendar.
September 6th.
Well, don't do it now. We're podcasting.
Okay.
Show us your feet.
Got my big...
Where do you get those shoes? The hospital?
Yeah.
Those are like...
They're Hokas.
If they sent
Hokas.
Jesus to a crazy people jail.
Yeah, it is.
Hokas?
Hokas.
I'm so behind on everything just in general. You'll tell me what Hokas are. I'll tell you what. Your butt is what?
My butt hurts.
And I gave you the comfy chair, too.
How's your butt?
I'm sitting on wood. You got a cushion. And with that being said, any closing messages?
Oh, you're ending it. Okay.
Yeah, your butt hurts. I don't want to upset your gluteus maximus.
I
We're at an hour.
I don't want you to have to edit this much. Minus the little...
Yes. Say it again. Sorry, I got to edit it a second time.
I won't do
Tory learned democracy this week and the importance of voting.
I sure did. So
your vote counts now, and you think that because you watched the DNC.
I feel self-righteous suddenly.
You feel self-righteous. That's the important part of voting is telling other people.
Self-righteous.
That's why people loved COVID.
You matter. No, but really, go vote. I want everyone to do that. I mean, we got time, November 5th, right?
I don't know. It's first Tuesday in November.
November 5th. Yeah, you matter. Your opinion matters about yourself, as T-Pain learned the hard way. Fuck you, Usher. And
well,
hey, go fuck yourself.
Tory always has these hard right turns where I 80%. I'm like, yeah, this is really good, and then she'll be like, yeah, and also I think Cyndi Lauper should kill herself, and I'm like, what the?
I never said that. Girls deserve to have fun. And with that, vote for Kamala. Any party words on your end?
You took them out of my mouth. I have no idea. I was talking about girls just want to have fun last week, and I have no idea what she's saying on that song.
That was written by a man.
It was.
That was written by a man.
Girls just want to have fun, and in order to do so, they need a man to give them an outline.
Give us a credit card. Ah.
I don't even have a credit card. I've only lived with women living in New York. I realized the other day. And except for that stint, I lived in Astoria with the Irish
a long
dudes.
Stint.
That was 2 years, yeah.
And then when you were in Brooklyn?
Women.
Really?
My cousin, then a woman.
You're a man of the ladies.
Unintentionally. But it's because I have a feminine energy to me.
I think you do.
I peak girly style even when I don't have
you
to.
You have feminine energy, and I've got a masculine energy. Maybe that's why we click.
Do you think you have a masculine energy? Why?
I'm a chill girl.
Oh, boy. Just...
No, I'm kidding. But I do think I've got a more masculine energy.
Yeah. Got a dick?
You don't think?
I don't know. I think of you like as you're like a straight white man's dream. Just blonde hair, blue-eyed, all-bred, purebred American. Teeth whiter than I want America's future to be, you know?
That's nice.
Like everyone who I talk to and talks behind your back is like, Tory is so gorgeous. Is like AI.
So kind. Yeah, you said.
I'm like, don't say that to her face. I want her to be in the dirt.
That's very kind. Thank you. I struggle with
I
body
agree with
image,
them.
as
We
most
all
people
do.
So
Yeah. It's
having a bad body image year.
I can't. As she folds more into herself, you're like a napkin after dinner. If it folds
Nobody look
anymore,
at me.
I'm gonna
Look
zoom
away.
out the whole time. There's like 4 dudes jerking it to you right now. That's what
Gross.
that dick
I don't
look
like thinking about that.
I don't mind. One woman sent me a video once of her flicking the old bean, watching my stand-up, and I was like, "Do you listen to the jokes too? I worked hard. I worked real hard on
You hear
those."
the tag on that one?
Yeah, no, she didn't because she was
intense.
playing with the tag on her.
Look at that. That's a riff.
No, that's a clit,
Okay.
and I know how to find it.
Good for you.
I'm the clit detective.
Well done.
I'm cutting the cameras now. My tourist, uterus. Thank you for listening to Bonding. We'll see you next week. I thought I had more closing words, but Tori's sitting right across from me, and she's starting to take her clothes off and putting on a Santa suit. It's weird. I didn't even see her bring one. And now she's doing blackface. Okay, I got to go. We'll see you next week.